Sound awakens something deep within. Welcome to this podcast, a space to slow down, tune in, and return to the song of your soul. Hi, Raymond. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So, just a quick background. Across time and continents, echoes of forgotten worlds still speak through stone, through crystal, through memory. Today, we open that doorway with Raymond Tarpey, historian, mystic, and the keeper of the crystal skulls. From the wisdom of the Maya to the light of Atlantis and Lemuria, he reminds us that the earth itself is alive, conscious, and calling us to remember. This is a journey into time, truth, and the crystalline heart of awakening. Thank you for being here again, Raymond. So, I want to start off by asking you how you often speak of Earth as a conscious being, alive and remembering. When did you first begin to sense that the planet itself carries memory and intelligence?
Well, for me, it has to come with souls that I meet. We don't know it ourselves. Our design will draw certain souls. And in my family, my brother married a lady from Germany. And we were not strict Catholics. We were Catholics, but not too formal a way. She came in with all the stories of reincarnation and everything is connected, and familiar with that. But her heart is so big, innocence is so readable that she converted all of us. Her name is Frida. So that began me on the road, and then my wife took over from there, because most of the time, when you go to a spiritual event, not a religious event, a spiritual event, most of the participants are female that they drag there. There's only one type of conference where the men were more numerous. And I didn't know, but when I went to the bathroom, the men's line was longer than the women's line. That's very unusual. I joined up with ARE, the Association for Research and Enlightenment. I was on the board there for years, and I really appreciated Edgar Casey's readings.
That's beautiful.
Edgar Casey used the term for the place we are now living in as laboratory Earth. It is an educational device, an educational environment, leading us sort of by the nose to come to agreement with each other and establish peace and justice on every. That's the goal of the place.
Sounds wonderful. So, through your connection with the crystal skulls,
Yes.
what have you learned about their true purpose? Are they relics of an ancient civilization or living conduits of planetary wisdom?
It is the testimony of the ancient Maya, and it is there in Central America, the place between the two big pieces of the Americas, that place where they had access to the ancient kingdoms of Atlantis and Lemuria. They had access to something because they're the only American group that produced a system of writing, a very advanced system of writing. So something magical happened there.
It's interesting.
There is, though, the possibility that the Chinese arrived. Ming Dynasty, that the Chinese had constructed great ships traveling the oceans. And there is a possibility. A fellow wrote a book about that. His name is Menzies, Menzies. And he speculated on that, but we have no proof of it. But I studied Chinese culture for years, and I'm fluent in Chinese. and I read Chinese and smell China in the testimony of the Maya thing. They have an unusual feature that in common. They both never separated the colors of blue and green. Blue and green for them is one color. It's turquoise. And Chinese are the same. And it is an aspect of jade. And for China, jade is the mark of the king. During the War in States period, they were fighting over a piece of jade that belonged to one king. And it involved all the different countries at that time before China was united. Hershi it's called. It's amazing that focused on jade, and the Maya are the same.
Was it the same?
Yes, yes. The mark of
Also,
the If the king owns a precious piece of jade, that's the mark of the king. Jade in Chinese is three lines, three horizontal lines with one line connecting the three lines, and a little spark, a little means king with the spark of light.
and that also means jade.
So from there, but also, I started studying the Maya because I was teaching English to young children from Mexico in grammar school. And even in the 5th and 6th grade, it was 8th grade we went up to in those days, they knew nothing about the Maya or the Aztec civilizations because it was not taught. All they taught was European history. That's what the conquistadors do. And so I started studying in order to teach them. And
Right.
I was hooked from that time.
In your research on Atlantis and Lemuria, what parallels do you see between those lost worlds and the collective transformation humanity is undergoing now?
Edgar Cayce said that the civilization of New Lemuria in the Pacific area, they had part of it off the coast of Japan, was in an early time and was an innocence of humanity. And their culture reached the highest level of spiritual civilization ever achieved on the earth. Atlantis was more entrepreneurial. So New Lemuria was more Asian. Asian people are usually restrained in their speech. The European people, that's my experience. In Japan, you have to watch. You cannot speak until you know everybody there, and you have to be very respectful because the worst thing you can do is hurt someone's feelings. It's a magical culture. So I wasn't used to that. So every time I opened my mouth, I felt like a barbarian.
So, so the Mayan calendar describes time as a living, breathing cycle, correct?
Right, right.
Not a straight
It is
line. So, how does that perspective shift the way we understand destiny and consciousness?
is all recorded. I think when we go over to the other side, we can watch the videos. It'll be fun. And it is something that is sacred, certain events, and remembering what happened in each year and keeping record. And so one part of the calendar is the Katun calendar, which is a 20-year cycle. And the Katun, we are now ever since 2012, a new Baktun has started. New cycle of 5,125 years has begun. And we are in the 13th year right now, as I speak, of the new calendar, the new cycle. I shouldn't say the new calendar, the cycle. And 13 is the number of transformation. So, yeah. I shouldn't say America either. It's Turtle Island. Census of American Indians seems to be that several of the civilizations, they said, called this place Turtle Island.
So, Raymond, you're both a historian and a mystic, two worlds that rarely meet. How do you balance the discipline of fact with intuition of the unseen?
Principle. Readings, that's the first thing I tell my clients. I don't believe anything. And the reason is I dissect the word believe. English is a German language. They don't really teach it in the schools very much, but there were three tribes that conquered the Celts of England, the Saxons and the Jutes. The most powerful one at the beginning were the Angles, but they don't say that in German. It's the Engels, Engels. And the land that they conquered, they called England. And the language they spoke was English. And so we're speaking a Germanic language. And in the Germanic language, the word believe means to prefer or to fall in love, to be in love. Lieben. It comes from the Indo-European root of Luf. So in German, if my Liebchen, my sweetheart, the one I love, Lieb, and ich trinke lieber Rotwein. I prefer red wine. As a researcher, I cannot prefer, so I don't believe. Once you believe, your mind, you've lost the open mind, not really researching in an objective manner. And so we have to accept all mythological tales as if they were fact. I open my mind. I don't pass any judgment. I let it go in. And then my thoughts form. So
So, you
facts
don't have
are
preconceived notions of anything.
no.
So, you
I
just let
I
it
read
be.
it, and inside my subconscious, my mind will go over it, and eventually some of it I prefer, or I follow that research if it clicks, if something clicks, because it's my design, and in my design it clicks, then I follow up on it. I keep following up on things.
Right. When I first wrote to you about a month and a half ago, you've mentioned that I have developed an open mind in this lifetime. So,
That's
what
right.
did you mean by that?
Is the greatest achievement of the human being on laboratory Earth, the development of the open mind. Because each culture is wonderful, but cultures are like actors and actresses on the stage. They always want the spotlight on themselves. And so people inside the bubble of a culture, when they look at India or China, for example, they think they see it, but they don't because they have a filter. And so that filter has to be removed. I remove it by studying as many languages and as many cultures as I can do in this lifetime.
Do you think developing an open mind takes a long time?
I think some people, everybody has a different gift. Everybody's unique here. And in their uniqueness is their power. And some people, I think, might get it right away. Remember Jean-Jacques Rousseau before the French Revolution. And his writings really brought forth the French Revolution. And he said that the problem with civilizations is that most of the citizens have no self. They are members of groups. And a shaman can be a member of a group, but not in the study. The shaman must be an independent observer and have the willingness to accept, just take it in.
Understood. So, non judgmental perception is what a shaman has.
Yes. And independent is the main thing because most people want to ingratiate themselves with others. They want to be popular. It's not the pursuit of a shaman. The pursuit of a shaman is to find the truth, and truth is not loyalty. Loyalty. Being loyal is not the truth. Like they say here, my country, right or wrong. That's totally incorrect.
Right. And as we move on, many
Yes,
believe that the crystal skulls hold encoded frequencies or records from ancient times.
yes.
Have you experienced moments where one spoke or revealed something directly to you?
Let me show you my skull. Get crystal skull, and I was lecturing at the first conference of the crystal skulls. I
Can
think.
you hold it up a little bit for us?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, here he is. Yep. And uh, I was lecturing during the conference and after the conference, and a man from Germany came up to me, and a lady from Peru. It was his female friend, and they said that this crystal skull wants to be on the table while I'm speaking. So I said, okay. I put him on the table. And then after I was done around 4 o'clock, they came back. The fellow said, um, and this is Lindorfer, Philip Lindorfer is his name. I have to say his name. I have to give him credit for what he did for me in my life. But he said, he still wants to be with you. Would you be the caretaker? Absolutely in shock. These are expensive items at that time and now. And so I was absolutely flabbergasted. And then later on, as I looked at it, I saw this. It's a Japanese woman. You see,
I
is
see
is it with a
something.
baby in the back? It's a Japanese lady. And I
Yes.
said, "Oh, that's my teacher." And then my wife said, "Now you know." Women are fantastic.
Very
'Cause
spontaneous
women
too.
women do train men. Men are barbarians. Uh, when they get married, they have a child, they still wanna go out every night and drink with their friends. And the woman has to keep pointing out to the wild boy that we have children to raise now. So we're gradually civilized by women. That's my view of it anyway.
I believe it. Yes. Um,
In many cases, I've seen it true. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Well, you have accepted it, and you're very humble about it. So that's the beauty of it.
And I just happened to be doing a lecture in New York at ARE group in the history. And so they didn't know the history. And so they invited me to roll into the Crystal Skull movement. So it was a surprise to me. I just knew the story, and then everything developed from there. And once I got this skull, everything changed. Everything changed because messages come from the crystal skull. It's meant. It seems to be meant, intended. It has an electrical um, feature in its composition, and everything is alive because everything is moving on the molecular level. And so a rock is not dead. A rock is alive. It has the consciousness, but we don't know yet.
So how do you receive your messages?
Just automatic. I accept the thoughts that come. Many times I'll be studying one thing and I have a client and I'm focused on that just as they want to have a reading. That's a sign. That's a sign right at that time. And many things happen. And then I look at the skull in the sunlight and it sparkles with rainbow lines. And I get thoughts from the skull and I accept the first thought. That's what meditation does for you. You're able to accept the first thought with no fear, without trepidation.
That's beautiful. So, as a keeper of the crystal skull, are you asked to do certain practices or anything on a
Well, yes,
regular basis?
I will show you my crazy altar, my mesa, they call it.
Ooh,
And
yes.
it's all rocks and plant, um, pieces of wood, trees, feathers of birds, um, all different kinds of stones, and some things that were given to me that I purchased in my travels because once I got the crystal skull, I knew skull remembers. It's very important. I think it's the destiny of the Americas because a lot of them are Christian. And Jesus Christ was sacrificed at the place of the skull. It's called Calvary, and Calvaria is the Latin name skull. So it seems like intended.
Very interesting. Lot to learn.
And I believe in all the religions. Not believe. I pray in all the places because my guru told me, um, don't ever be against religion. At least they're talking about hope. So like different cultures, I can still pray there. I know whoever created the place is all over the place. Whatever. Sometimes I like to call it the force, like in Star Wars. The force behind the place. I like that term. It's better than fighting over the words.
True. Yeah. So, for those listening who feel the earth's pulse and sense this awakening, what can they do to tune more deeply into that crystalline field of remembrance within themselves?
Yes. There are many steps. That's what I do in the reading. I give all that there are multiple steps to do. One of the main things is to do ceremony. It's sort of later on in the process, but when you do ceremony, if anybody looked at my mesa, my altar, they would say I'm crazy. It's mine. I am independent. And I do even what other people think is crazy, because that will help me deprogram myself from the empire education. Because the empire education has many lies. Many of the religions are empire religions too, but I have nothing against them. I think they're positive, except for the fundamentalists, the one who believe every single word in the book and want to be holier than the others. And that's who's causing all the trouble.
So, you want them to just stay neutral.
Stay, keep within the spirit of the Bible, because like in the Christian, the Judeo-Christian one, the Bible, there's a story of Moses. And Moses came down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments, and he was angry because they were worshiping a graven image, a golden calf in the Sinai desert. He got angry and he threw the tablets down. He said, nothing formed or carved by the hand of man can be the entire word of God. And anything that is a graven image. So words are images just like statues. And many religions don't want the statues, but the word is an image just like a statue. What can be put in front of you, just like it's been taught behind the statue in ancient times, and give the people the word of God. It's beyond our what we can draw with our hand.
Interesting. So, Edgar Casey, I asked this question a lot. He talked
Yes.
about how sound is the future of medicine. What is your perspective on that?
Oh, I love the idea of it. I think it is. And I think people have to keep experimenting on it because obviously music calms the soul. It has an obvious power in the mind. And it's mathematical. And subconsciously, we understand that mathematics. So it's a very powerful one. And I think that sound therapies have logic, and some souls are gifted with that. And that could be their shamanship, their duty here, their intended shamanship. Because your intended shamanship is what you like. The schools are not interested in what you like. They're interested that you learn the curriculum. And the word education is Latin. And Latin, in Latin, E, the first letter, is EX in Latin, same, to go out. And DUC is the word for leader. It means lead out, not stuff in. It's not interested in who you are. It's interested that you learn the programmed knowledge package and give the right answer. And that's not education.
So when you say shamanship, that means that it's actually empowering oneself to be
Yes,
independent and
perfectly so.
authoritative.
The
Is that
ability to establish yourself and not worry about what other people think of what you're saying or what you're thinking. Allowing yourself the freedom to think and look at everything as if you were the first human being.
passion, with that zeal, and with that childlike innocence,
Curiosity to
curiosity?
find out what was done before. It's very simple, actually, complicated with our ego species. And in the Western world, the around the world, human beings tend to make their species the god. I think that's arrogance, complete arrogance. If anything would be the god, it would be the plant, because it can exist without us, but we can't exist without it.
Right. Trying to wrap my head around it. So you're
Defend some, but it's just thought. It's just my thoughts. Don't believe anything that I say
right. So
because I
you're
don't believe
saying
it.
right. So you're saying that just be open to things.
Yeah, yeah. And that openness will allow you to see spiritual signs intended for you. You don't walk through the world like a person in a suit of armor. Something happens. You're walking along a path, and all of a sudden, a fine gemstone appears on the path. That's a sign. I had one experience one time where I was at a party and I was smoking grass. So I was pretty high, which helps. And then, um, uh, before the party, my good friend called me and I answered the phone and he said, "How did you answer the phone? It didn't ring yet." And so that was funny. I didn't think anything of it. And then that night at the party, um, they're playing music and people are talking. And I heard the knock at the door. I said, did you hear the knock at the door? Nobody heard the knock. So I went downstairs. I opened the door and my friend was like this. He was about to knock. He didn't knock yet. Right at that moment. You got to
Right.
take that.
Right. That's interesting.
It's watch for those. They're not coincidences. It's a setup here for learning. Some entities have set this up for learning. It could even be our future selves going back in time, trying to stop us from having destroyed the place and undo it through time. We don't know.
Right.
What
Thank you so much for today's wisdom, Raymond. I really appreciate our talk. Thanks for tuning in. Take a deep breath, carry the peace with you, and I will see you next time.